This is one of 2 books that really helped me along my path. If you're new to this channel, my name is Hince, and after nearly 20 years of deep shadow work, working through past traumas and repressed emotions, I've found not only emotional peace, but I'm also finding physical peace. I'm releasing tension held in my tissues and even my bones, a level I had no idea we could access with awareness. This book was part of that journey for me, so I want to review parts of it with you, not just to read it, but to review what David Hawkins is actually saying in a practical way, and to add some clarification that I personally would have appreciated when I first read it. And yes, there are a few places that I disagree with him, but we'll get to those later in the series. If you don't have the book and you'd like a copy, I've put a link in the description and in my pinned comment. From the back cover, David says, "Letting go describes a simple and effective means by which to let go of the obstacles to enlightenment and become free of negativity." And honestly, that's a tall order, but it really is possible. I would tweak what he says here and there to make it easier for more people to start, and also more powerful once you know what you're doing. So let's start with what David Hawkins actually means by letting go. Because although it sounds simple, there's a very specific process underneath it that most people miss at first. And it all starts with one very simple idea: attachments. Its simplicity is deceptive and almost disguises the real benefit of the technique. Simply stated, it sets us free from emotional attachments. It verifies the observation made by every sage that attachments are the primary cause of suffering. Attachments are our connections to things. Your phone, for example. If your phone was taken away, you would feel something, wouldn't you? That feeling shows there's an attachment to it. Or if someone close to you died, you would feel something because there was an attachment there too. If there are no attachments, you can still have your phone, your possessions, your relationships, but your peace is not dependent on them. You can have them or not have them, and you remain steady either way. And this doesn't mean you stop having those things. It just means you're no longer emotionally bound to them. This is where it starts to become practical, because attachments aren't just ideas. We feel them inside of our body. So the question now becomes, how do we release that feeling inside of us without avoiding it or trying to fix it? Letting go involves being aware of a feeling, letting it come up, staying with it, and letting it run its course without wanting to make it different or do anything about it. It means simply to let the feeling be there and to focus on letting out the energy behind it. The first step is to allow yourself to have the feeling without resisting it. It means to drop judgment and to see that it is just a feeling. The technique is to be with the feeling and surrender all efforts to modify the feeling. So I don't recall exactly where I was on this path when I first read this book, but I do know that it didn't fully work for me at the time. I actually had to step back and start with EFT, which for me worked better as a starting point, especially since I didn't yet have much awareness of the feelings inside of my body. With EFT, emotional freedom technique or tapping, the tapping itself, the physical act of tapping itself, seems to help release the intensity of the feeling without needing to fully hold it in awareness in the same way. But after doing a lot of EFT, my awareness deepened. I started to become aware of the actual sensations in my body. And when I came back to this technique, I approached it differently. I wasn't just trying to think my way through it. I was able to stay with the feeling itself. So I experimented. I realized that to get it to work, I had to keep my focus on the feeling. Because if I didn't, I would lose focus and it would move away. So what I did was find the feeling in my body, hold my attention on it, and then stop right there, like a statue. No extra movement, no thinking, No analyzing. Just awareness on the feeling itself. No more breathing in or out. No more movement of any kind. Obviously, I would take a breath when I needed to, and then I would do it again. Once the feeling had had sufficient attention, it would dissipate. Sometimes it would crescendo and then dissipate. Sometimes it would just fade away. And this is where Hawkins brings the focus back to something that's very foundational about how we work with our inner experience. Self-awareness is increased much more rapidly by observing feelings rather than thoughts. It is the feeling that is stored in the body, and memories are associated with that feeling. Before we go any further, let's talk about feelings versus emotions. Feelings are physical sensations. An emotion is the name or label we give to a set of physical sensations. An emotion is in the mind. A feeling is in the body. So Hawkins is talking about observing feelings, physical sensations in the body, rather than thinking about emotions as a mental concept. Self-awareness is how aware you are of yourself, and it exists on a spectrum. I explain that fully in this video that I'll link here. The deeper our self-awareness becomes, the more we begin to know ourselves through different layers, starting with emotions, then moving into the physical sensations underneath the emotions, and then eventually into the physical body itself. To reach those deeper layers, we need the ability to observe feelings rather than thoughts. And not everyone can do that at first. I couldn't. That's why I had to backtrack and start with EFT first. Others may need to do the same. Once you can sense feelings directly in the body, then this technique becomes much more accessible. And Hawkins then describes what to actually do once you are aware of the feelings in this way. The feeling can then be worked with by first accepting that it is there, without resisting it or condemning it. And then one begins to empty out the energy of the feeling directly by letting it be what it is until it runs out. So in actuality, David is talking about using both thoughts and feelings. First, accepting with a thought, I am feeling sad. Then coming out of the thinking mind into the sensing mind and simply surrendering into feeling sad, which is a set of physical sensations in the body. Maybe a lowering of the shoulders and a sinking in of the solar plexus. Feel that energy in the shoulders and the solar plexus until it runs out. And there's another layer to this process that Hawkins emphasizes as even more direct. The fastest way to move from the bottom of his consciousness scale to the top is by telling the truth to ourselves and to others. When we first start this path, it can be difficult to know what our actual truth is. But if we are going to surrender to our feelings, we have to become aware of what those feelings truly are. Those of you who have had one-on-one sessions with me will have experienced this refinement of truth through EFT or tapping. We begin with our current level of truth, which may be something general like, he disgusts me. As we stay with it, that may refine into, he reminds me of my dad, which is more of a thought than a feeling. Then it may refine further into, I feel powerless around him. Then maybe into something more somatic like, there is an empty feeling in my chest. And then even further into, there is tension in my solar plexus and my rib cage. All of these are true at the level of awareness that they are experienced. They are just different layers of truth. So as awareness deepens, so does the refinement of truth. To work with this technique, we want to meet and accept each layer of truth as it arises. I accept that I'm feeling disgust, and we surrender to the feeling of disgust. I accept that he reminds me of my dad. I accept that I feel powerless around him, and we surrender into that feeling of powerlessness. I accept that the feeling of powerlessness feels like a void in my chest, and I surrender to that void. I accept that I have tension in my solar plexus and rib cage, and I surrender to that tension. With acceptance of truth at each layer, the tension releases. The nervous system shifts. Awareness expands. and we experience a greater sense of inner freedom. And all of this ultimately leads back to what Hawkins means by surrender. To be surrendered means to have no strong emotion about a thing. It's okay if it happens, and it's okay if it doesn't. To be surrendered to a past memory means to be able to talk about it with no emotions. Not because the emotions have been suppressed, but because they are no longer there. This sounds simple, but in practice, this is often where we meet one of the most common places that we get stuck. Sometimes you will be stuck with a particular feeling. Simply surrender to the feeling of being stuck. Just let it be there and don't resist. This is something I often come across when working with people one-on-one. It can be difficult to recognize in ourselves at first, but it becomes easier with awareness. We have a tendency to look beyond where we are. For example, when we are stuck in a particular feeling, we want to look beyond the stuckness and feel like we should be working on the feeling itself. But they are two different layers. There is the feeling and there is the stuckness about the feeling. Or we experience a feeling and immediately try to work out why we are feeling that feeling, rather than simply feeling it. In doing that, we move right out of direct experiencing and back into thinking. We are very skilled at bypassing what is actually present and looking elsewhere. But what is right here, right now, is what needs to be met, or in Hawkins' words, surrendered. The moment we ask, why am I feeling this? We are back in thought and no longer in sensation. And when we stop doing that, when we stop resisting and start staying with what is actually here, something very simple becomes available. Peace comes with total inner surrender to what is. Think of what it's like to want to tell your best friend exactly what happened. If they really listen to you, you feel free to share every little detail. And their listening allows you to release what you've been holding and relax back into peace. This is what you're doing with your body. You are being its best friend, listening patiently until it has shared everything it needs to share so that it can relax back into peace. And what's interesting is that this process has a wider effect than most people realize. Letting go has a peculiar advantage in that the surrendering of one negative feeling also relinquishes the energy behind many other negative feelings. So there is a constant across-the-board effect. Think about emotions like embarrassment and humiliation. They are very similar, but not quite the same. Or guilt and shame, again similar, but not identical. What they share are overlapping physical sensations in the body. So when we surrender to the feeling of guilt, we may also begin to release aspects of shame. When we surrender to humiliation, we may also release aspects of embarrassment. This is why the process has a wider effect than just working on one specific emotion. We are not dealing with isolated feelings. We are working with patterns of stored energy that are connected. So we are never just working on one feeling. The next obvious question is, how do we actually find what needs to be surrendered? Finding out what needs to be cleaned up is simple and easy. Just look at what you would not want others to know about you and begin to surrender it. This definitely finds triggering memories to work on. But so does asking ourselves times when we were embarrassed or humiliated, angry, or any other emotion. Or even simply naming family members or friends. Each of them probably has memories that can be cleaned up by releasing the emotions we have stored inside. Whatever makes you uncomfortable is usually pointing directly at what needs to be released. And this leads to an important point that Hawkins makes. Because when we start doing this work, we often start describing what's happening in labels rather than what we are actually feeling. Surrender to what is actually felt, which are the sensations themselves. We cannot feel a disease. This is interesting, isn't it? The name of a disease, like the name of an emotion, is a dissociation from the actual feelings, the actual sensations. You don't feel the flu. You feel the pressure of a stuffy nose, pain of a sore throat, pounding of a headache, the heat of a fever. Those are the sensations we want to surrender to. And once you understand that you're surrendering sensations, not labels, you start to realize you can apply the process to almost anything. You can use it to remove the obstacles to making $1 million, or you can use it to remove the obstacles to the development of spiritual awareness. Here, he's talking about surrendering to things we don't have yet, but we might want. However, it's much more powerful to surrender to what our actual truth is, that we don't have these things, before working on what we want that we don't have yet. So if we want to make $1 million, what are we actually feeling now? Are we feeling poor? Are we feeling like we don't have enough money? We have to find our truth and surrender to that first. Once you've done that, then you can work on the resistance to having what you want. And the video I'll link here will take you through that process. In the next video, we're going to talk about why Hawkins says that thoughts are actually caused by feelings, and why trying to fix your thoughts is usually backwards. Please give this video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell so you get notified for the next video in the series. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Thank you.